Hi, this is Bill St. Cyr from Students of the Dream. Welcome to my Coming Into Consciousness YouTube channel. Coming live from the Billy Bus, and I'm a little bit east of Pensacola, Florida. Getting ready to meet my honey tomorrow, which I'm very excited about. Haven't seen her for a few weeks. And I wanted to talk about one of the foundational pieces of the work that we do here at Students of the Dream, which has to do with the word trust. And I really believe that trust is at the core of everything that we do. Trust in oneself. And I want to explain a little bit what I mean by that word. And I want to reference the trauma research in the sense that I believe that we live in a culture of trauma. I believe that none of us have totally had the needs. Those of us that live in the West anyway, we live in a very broken lineage, and there's like a real context of trauma in all our lives on some level. And from that perspective, there's a reason for what we do. So when we have habits that we don't like, when we have parts of ourselves that we don't like, when we have a dream that we don't like, it's important to just start by taking a breath and understanding that there is, by trust, what I'm saying is there's a reason that we are the way that we are. And there's something very important about acknowledging that reason. There's something very important about just acknowledging the truth of our own experience. I listened to a short video from Pema Chodron the other day, and she spoke about it in terms of like befriending ourselves, befriending all the different parts of who we are. I had this image today that came up. One of my people that I work with in one of my classes talked about internal family systems today, and I had this image of how, like, in the culture of trauma that we grow up in, we all have these moments where the wholeness of who we are gets kind of shattered into these different parts. And internally, those parts tend to be in conflict with each other. They tend to judge different parts of who we are. We tend to hide parts of who we are. We tend to put out a persona to the world, if you will. All these different parts of who we are get created internally in order to survive the overwhelm of not having our needs met in some way, or in some way worse, having our boundaries utterly violated. And in order to come into consciousness, there needs to be some trust of all those different parts of who we are. There needs to be some space to find out, like, even if there are parts that have come in from outside, voices that we've internalized that aren't ultimately who we are, we need some space to just like know, like, where does that voice come from? What is that voice? Because most of those voices in our unconscious run us in a way that we're not conscious of. And if we can take a breath, there's this kind of alchemy that happens that's completely counterintuitive. We always look at the things that we do that are self-destructive, or we look at the things that the way that we've become who we are, that's out of alignment with our own integrity or intention as personal and spiritual practitioners. And we feel like we have to make those parts of ourselves go away. And it's completely counterintuitive to begin to trust that we don't need to, like, on some level, we don't need to make those parts of ourselves go away. If they don't belong in us, if they're not genuinely a part of who we are, then if we give space, what happens is the parts that we don't need, the strategies that we've used to survive, that we may have become overattached to, they dissipate on their own. And there is a literal kind of alchemy that can happen, whether you're working with life moments or dream moments. it's always a good way to start with just some acceptance, some attempt at understanding why I am who I am. And then everything else becomes possible because you're making space for the full realm of consciousness, including everything from our lineages, I'm reaching behind me, to be conscious and not to run us unconsciously. And once we do that, then once everything is in our field of consciousness, then there's room for what needs to clear out, and that allows possibility that's really profound. So I think I'm going to pause there. Appreciate you listening. If you're seeing this on YouTube, please give a like or a comment or subscribe to the channel. I'm going to try to do this more regularly. And yeah, much gratitude to everybody who's helped me come to this place. Thank you all. Good to be with you.